back to Casuals Corner, and if you're new here, let me tell you what we do before we jump into the video. We do pre and post fight breakdowns. We have our own podcast. We bring you special little segments like Rising Stars, and we bring you daily MMA content. Yes, I said daily MMA content. That includes YouTube. So if you like what you see, if you enjoy the content, then get involved in the comments. Drop a like, a subscribe, and hit the little bell icon as well to stay up to date with the comments. So let's jump into it. The first one that I wanted to start with was Yoel Romero and Phil Davis. Now let's get one thing clear when we look at this fight. All of the pressure is on Yoel Romero. All of it. All the pressure of this fight is sitting on his shoulders. Now, they are very big, sculpted shoulders at 205. That man has not aged. He is ridiculous in shape, and it's easy to get carried away with this idea of him still being an explosive beast, him being that person that we know of old. And on paper, I think it tells a little bit of a different story. He's lost 4 out of his last 5. He's 44 years of age. He's 18 months without having a last fight. He's going into the 205 category on his debut at that weight, on his debut at Bellator. There's a lot on the line for Yoel Romero. There's a lot on the line. And this is a big fight for him to start with. And it's a difficult fight for him to start with. And the first sort of question there'll be in terms of blueprint will be wrestling. A lot of people will see that Yoel Romero is an Olympian wrestler, whilst obviously that is the highest accolade for a wrestler. Phil Davis isn't with his respective talents as well in wrestling, and he was a Div 1 All-American, I believe. Interestingly enough, in different styles of wrestling as well, where I think this may come into play, because Yoel Romero was a freestyle wrestler which only has limited time on the actual ground, whereas Phil Davis, with his different discipline, you're not allowed to lock the hands, so there's a lot of wrist control, there's a lot of ankle control, and you can see it within his ground and pound, and I think that could be a path to victory. I know it sounds crazy to some people that think wrestling Yoel Romero, but I think that could be a path to victory over the going distance. I think Yoel Romero is 0 to 100, but he can only do that for so long, and that standard saying of get out of the first round and your odds increase dramatically are very strong with Yoel Romero, because I think that very much is the case. Phil Davis is good from range. He's got a nice jab, and I think 16 of the last 18 of his fights have gone into the last round, whether they've lasted the full fight or whether they've finished in the last round. The last 16 of his 18 fights have either gone to the 3rd or the 5th round. So isn't to say that's nailed on, but it is to say that the likelihood is that it potentially will go late. And the fact is as well, Phil Davis is very durable and he's never been finished. So when it does get into those later rounds, when Yoel Romero's muscles are potentially fatiguing a little, where that 18 months layoff starts playing in a little bit, where that 44 years of age starts catching up to him a little bit, and the fact that this is a new atmosphere, maybe a potential adrenaline dump, even though he's such an experienced professional, there's a lot going into this. Bellator's is easy to forget sometimes, but Bellator's a massive organisation. There's a lot of eyeballs on this, and it's on at the same sort of time as the UFC prelim, so I know for a fact that I'm going to have that up there as well. So it's very interesting. I think that's what Phil Davis is going to try and do. I think he's going to try and back him up against the fence. I think he's going to try and keep him at distance, take him down where he can, chip away at him, and just drag the fight out a little bit. And I think he'll just, not to play it safely, because obviously you're never safe with Yoel Romero, and that's the danger. He comes with quite an unorthodox rhythm. He throws quite wild punches, and he can close the distance so quickly, so that threat is always there. But I do just think that Phil Davis is going to weather this storm. He's going to play this one out, and I think it goes the distance. And it puts Yoel Romero in a tricky spot. Now I'm saying this and he can come out and blast him in literally the first 30 seconds, but I can't see it happening. So I'm going to go with a Phil Davis decision win. I think he's going to do exactly that. I think he's going to keep him at range. I think he's going to wrestle him when he needs to, level change when he needs to. I don't think he'll do it early. I think he'll keep it guessing on the feet and then level change unexpectedly. I think he'll do some work on the floor. I think he'll chip away at him, and I think that's how he'll win the fight. And I think he'll take it to the judges. And I think he'll take it. I think he'll probably go 4 rounds to 1, if not 5 rounds to nothing. I don't think we're going to see a lot of output from Romero. As always, you know the drill. If you enjoy the content, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and get involved in the comments as well. As always, take care. Peace.